Hey guys, welcome into Edie's Attic. My name is Jenny, and I'm here with your weekly energy update. I wasn't even sure if I was going to make it to filming and putting something out there today. I'm still trying to catch up in my day to day. I just got back home late last night, drove, I'd say about 4.5 hours with traffic. It wasn't awful, but I don't like driving long distance and I don't like being stuck in traffic. There's something about when I'm driving and I'm stuck on the road, it shifts me into theta and I start zoning out, and it's really scary for me. So it's just really hard for me to stay present and be focused and to have to drive and to pay attention to everything going on around me. It's a lot for my system. But I just got back late last night. I had scheduled myself to be up at 5 a.m. this morning to shower, to clean, to work out, to do a read, to, all the stuff I have to do. I'm setting up a graduation party, so I have a list of things I have to do. And something just told me, give yourself another day. Go back to bed, relax, sleep in. Because my body was tired. Even though I went on vacation, it was like driving back and coming home. I feel so tired. Not quite sure why or what's going on with me, or the energy shift maybe. But I did want to come on here and I might pull a few cards. I wanted to talk about what I learned. I'm always looking to learn something. I'm always trying to find the bigger meaning out of everything, it seems like. And this trip was nothing different than everything else to me. I had left and gone on this trip with the intention of learning something, learning something to even share. And so the first thing I learned was how hard it is to really shut everything down and to let go and to relax when you are in a position of doing so. Like someone like me, I'm constantly, my mind is on overdrive. I'm always working, even when I'm not working. I'm always trying to understand and dig deep and find the meaning in everything. And this trip made me realize how much I do that. So, right from the beginning of the trip, I'd say it took me a good 24 hours to release and to just merely exist and to let go and to stop questioning and looking and feeling and tapping in and trying to channel and connecting to energies, which was, I think, a shock to my system because being, for me, now some of the stuff that I'm saying, maybe I'm putting it out there because spirit wants you to hear it because perhaps you relate to what I went through. But for me, being, so in the suburbs, in the city, and around so many people all the time, even if I'm not physically with them or connected to them or speaking to them, I'm somehow like attached to them energetically because of how close in proximity we are. So I feel like I'm constantly picking up on other people's energies and emotions and feelings and thoughts and situations that when I was taken out of it and put somewhere remotely, like way up in the northern woods of Michigan, I wasn't able to really tap into anyone else. I could tap in if I really wanted to, but I almost feel like spirit's like, no, you're here to have a good time. You're here to relax. You're here to enjoy yourself. This is your time to tap into you. So after about 24 hours, a day or so goes by, I ended up going outside by myself, and walked a little bit into the woods, and I kind of just sat there with, nature. And I asked, what is it that I need to see? What do I need to know? What is it that I need to feel? Why am I struggling with this? Why do I feel the need to have to connect or channel or attach myself to someone else's energy when I am obviously on vacation and that is not what I'm here for? Like, why do I feel like I always have to work when I'm not working? And I like within that moment, the wind picked up and I felt it just kind of flow around me. And I felt like my body like was tense and it kind of like released. And I was like, I don't have to do anything. I'm completely disconnected. This is for me. This is my time. This is my time to just exist and just be here and enjoy what is happening in the moment. Like what I always say on my channel, this is my time to do just that. And then I walked away and came out of the woods, and I kid you not. And so as I'm walking out of the woods, I started seeing this real big bird like circling above me, and it perched itself on a real tall tree and it just sat there. It just like sat there perched on the tree and stared down at me. And I just stared at it. And we just literally locked eyes and stared at each other. I'd say probably for a good 10 minutes, if not more. Like he wasn't moving. He was just looking. And I was looking. And it was beautiful. It's a very large bird. And at first I thought maybe it was a hawk, maybe it was an eagle. I wasn't quite sure. And then a friend of mine that stays near the property, I talked to them later about it, and they said that it sounded like an osprey. So when I got home this morning, when I was like lying around, I Googled the spiritual meaning of osprey. And from what I discovered, it's like they bring clarity, vision, um, for you to dive deep into your own emotions, into your own feelings. It's like a sign of tapping into your own self and your own spirituality, which, looking back now to my trip, that makes total sense to me. And it's also like very connected to the sun god. And it is like usually can be used as a messenger. Um, so there's some elements. I mean, you can look it up yourself if you want to, and maybe you have witnessed or seen an osprey as of recently too. But that's kind of like what it brings to like as a message to you. Um, but then as soon as the osprey finally left, but it didn't actually leave, it like went up and then it went over a few trees and kind of perched again and sat there and stared at me. But then I felt led to moving through and walking through the woods a little bit more. And as I was walking through, I came across not just one, but a whole bunch of dragonflies. So that was another spiritual sign for me as well. Like, okay, this is fun. I love dragonflies. I've never seen so many of them at one time. But just the fact that I saw so many following, being in this like confrontation or this like this eye locking with this beautiful bird, I found that to be amazing. And I was like, I get it. Okay, I'm in nature. I'm surrounded by God's creations, and I'm surrounded by beautiful, beautiful animals and insects and birds and everything, right? So, like, I need to just be here right now. So after I like basked in this great experience, I turned around to go back toward the cabin. And as I was walking into the cabin, I actually saw a snake right next to the cabin, which we've never seen snakes around the cabin. That was a first for us, but I found the snake, and it was actually quite beautiful. It turned out to be, I believe, a milk snake. The coloring was great though. It was white with like these reddish black spots on it. Turns out it's not venomous. Was very careful not to get bit by it. But it was interesting that, to find so many different things in wildlife that you would never see in the city, and to be a part of that and to be just in nature. And it just kind of like dawned on me that you just have to sometimes, like, I know I always say disconnect, but really put everything, like push it all away, push the distractions away, push every like thing that's outside of you away, and just be there with you. And that's what I did. And from that point forward, for the rest of my trip, it was just It was very relaxing. I felt very peaceful. I felt very in tune with myself. And I think, again, going back to how, you know, being in this realm and having the abilities that I do and being able to sense other people's emotions and just know things about people when they come to me and ask me questions, I just kind of already know what's going to happen. Um, which is, I'm finally getting used to that. But then taking me out of it and making me not use those skills and making me just be me, who I am, Jenny, just being Jenny and just having fun was like a shock to my system because I'm not used to just being me. And it's like liberating. It's like God saying, it's okay, just be you. You know, like you don't have to always be there and to say anything. Just existing is all you need to do. It was just amazing. I don't know if I can explain it any better. I'm trying to explain it the best I can. Um, it's a feeling that I can't explain. It's almost like being validated and confirmation from spirit saying that your existence is all that is needed from you. Sometimes the lack of your presence or the lack of what you have to say says more than speaking does. Just being there, being alive, is all that you have to do. It like took the pressure off of having to be everything or show up or always constantly feel like I have to be in working mode or deliver in order to feel validated. And I feel like that's a message that can be taken with this collective. I feel like we've talked about this so many times. I feel like so many different people have talked about this so many times on their channels. But I feel like with this collective, there's like this looming energy of having to deliver, of having to continuously seek like this higher calling or this higher purpose or this existence of having to find out truths, knowing things. And when you have the ability to know things, like it's almost like an addiction, like seeking that high of learning a new truth, obtaining a new truth, seeking and obtaining, and then delivering so everyone else knows that truth. I feel like the pressure's on for a lot of people that are in this mindset, in this energy, who feel called to a higher purpose or called to um, like wisdom seeking and knowledge seeking. Sometimes things would just come to us and come to us and gravitate to us when we are not seeking it. That there is beauty and there is knowledge and there is wisdom and there is understanding and clarity, even in the moments that we don't feel that we are working towards that. When we don't expect and we put our expectations aside, that we may find more understanding about ourselves, about the people around us, about the world that we live in, and the things that are happening around us in the world that we live in. And that was like a whole nother thing too. Being away and disconnected, you are oblivious to like the catastrophes and the circumstances and the fatalities and the depression and the anger and everything that's going on. It was amazing because like I didn't know the half of it. I didn't even have a clue being disconnected. And then when I get home and I log into my phone and I open up these apps and I start looking at the news, because that's the first thing that keeps popping up in all my social media apps is the news, to find out some of the horrible things that happened over the weekend. Definitely, I've cried a lot in the last, which is another reason why I was struggling with filming today. Maybe that's why I feel so low energy. Coming back to city life, being connected to all this energy and everything that's happening, is I've been crying a lot. It makes me sad. I'm emotional. I'm feeling so much sadness and pain and fear. I'm picking up a lot of fear and confusion. There's a lot of energy and a lot of feeling of what's going on? Why is this happening? How can we do better? What can we do to make it better? And I feel like so many people want to help, and so many people have this like feeling of, how do I help? What do I do? How do I step up to the plate and help make things better? I know I do. And I feel like a lot of people do right now. Like we all do, and we just don't know. And as horrible as this sounds, or as crazy as this sounds, I keep feeling led by spirit to keep our vibes high. Like even though like what's happening in front of our faces is making us so sad and so depressed and so scared and so angry. Some of us are so angry. That's where they don't want us to be in that energy. It's hard not to be angry and emotional and sad. So when I hear and I feel this from spirit, it's hard to wrap my mind around, but I keep hearing them say not to let your vibes drop. We have to counter the negativity and the sadness and depression and all that stuff. We have to counter it with our essence, our peace, our happiness, our joy. And it's like an encouragement for us to keep spreading it. As much as all this negativity is being pushed on us and it's happening around us, and bad things around every corner, and everything that is being pushed into our faces on a daily basis to bring our spirits down, to break our spirits, to create so much turmoil in our souls. We need, that's our job, is to step up and to create beauty and to spread love and to spread peace and encouraging words. And to, if we have an army of all these people over here that are doing a real good job, by the way, at pushing fear and hatred into our faces, that we really need to counter it with love and peace and beauty, and stepping out into the world and being that person that helps that other person, that speaks up for that other person, that helps heal people around them. Not just here on a screen or on social media, even though that seems to be where spiritual warfare is happening right now, but out there in the world, being that pillar of light around so much darkness, because they're moving in such great magnitude, this dark energy, that we need to counter it. We need to fight back with love, if that makes any sense. And that's I'm spiritually being led to say that. Like, I don't like being in a place of fear and depression. And I'm one to really personally rise above all that. But it's starting to even creep into my mind space a little bit. And I know it is. And I know spirit does not want that to happen. Because one of my jobs here is to keep the vibes high, the frequency high. And if you're listening this far into the video and you've stuck with me this far, that's probably yours too. So what can we do? How can I step up to the plate? It starts with each one of us. And then collectively, we need to counter the negativity with positivity. Do I have any idea in the physical plane on how this is going to play out and how this is going to work and how we're going to man up and group up and collectively go against evildoers, naysayers? Not yet. I don't. I feel like as we move into the future and as we start collectively working towards a more peaceful, harmonious world, things are going to reveal themselves to all of us individually. And I think that it's just going to be a matter of time before a shift finally takes place. The balancing of the scales. And I feel like it's important also to express, because I think a lot of us forget, that in the beginning, when this world was being formed and created, for a very long time, we existed more so in the ethers. We are very spiritual. We are very much able to change and to shift ourselves and to move more freely and fluidly in the spirit realm. And it was over a course of time that our world became more solid and became made of matter and became more physical. So here we are, modern day, in physical vessels, being driven by a spiritual body. So we feel limited. But Spirit definitely wants you to remember who you are and what you're made of. And that while you are in a physical body, you are indeed a very, very much spiritual energy. And that you need to tap into those parts of yourself and remember who you are. And remember the kind of influence you have and how you can create by thought form alone. That it's because of the physicality of this world that you feel limited and that you have forgotten where you came from. But that you are spirit, you are part of source energy, and that your ability to create through thought form and manifest is possible. So be very careful about what you're entertaining and what you're allowing into your thoughts, and being mindful of how you organize your thoughts and what you're putting your energy into, and to remember that what you think you create. So that's just another message that I'm picking up from Spirit to you, to this collective that is on their personal journeys in this lifetime. They have personal destinies. They seek higher wisdom, higher knowledge. They seek to create balance and to create light, love, peace, harmony, and justice. This is for you. I didn't actually know I was going to get into all of that today. Didn't plan on it. In fact, I planned on pulling cards, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to wait and do that in a separate reading. I hope this resonated with some people out there. I feel like a lot of people will understand. And I just want to say that I'm praying for all those people out there that are going through such hard times and heartache and are being treated in a way where they are not receiving justice. I'm sending out my most heartfelt wishes and love and prayers to those people. And that is it. That is the message for today. I'm going to leave it there. If you're not subscribed and you want to, please subscribe. And if this did resonate or you understand, please, like and comment. And, let's stay high vibe. I know it's hard, but we kind of have to. That's our job.